Boom! Live. We will wait a little bit to see who shows up. And we're checking our sound looks good. A little bit cluttered over here, but we'll talk about this in a second. Now, part of the cover is this. So we'll harken back to it. But some of you know I've been doing both shows with, they're semi-live because I don't publish them live. But I film with Dan Pancaldi from No Enemies Here and Ron Nicholson. And we're doing a campaign that I'm running with those two. Of course, some of you know the version 2 of this game, still a great book with a lot of information. And I actually, in the last episode filmed of this, I used a encounter. It's like a real short little program where I can grab some encounters that are more version 2. And of course, we can harken back to the original. So I did not own this originally. A buddy did, but then I picked up a copy. And this one has tape on it and a little bit beat up. We will talk about the Tank Duel Tank Pack 1. So I'm going to film on that a little bit. And then something I really want to play is I did like a little unbagging of Rocky Mountain Man, but I want to get this played. You can see there's crayons or crayons in here. So think Source of the Nile type play where you're adventuring into unknown lands and you're marking on the map with crayons. Sounds weird. It is a little weird. I'll be enjoying a little Johnny Walker Green Label. It's a blended single malt. And you'll say, what the heck's that? A single malt, imagine, is like a, imagine you have a pure Coca-Cola. And then you have, or classic Coca-Cola. And then you also have a new Coke. Well, you could call those each different single malts. They're different, but they're a single entity. Now, I know that doesn't work, and some whiskey people will be going, what the hell? But if you then took the old Coke and the new Coke and blended them together, you get a blended Scotch. If those are malts, you would get a blended malt. Now, a blended Scotch means they can use grains, corn, different things other than barley, whereas single malt just uses barley. That was probably a terrible, terrible explanation. For more crazy things that don't always make sense, you can check out Scotch Test Dummies, which is the set you see behind me. All right, let me see if we got any comments in. How's my sound? I did a little sound check, but I've got my mic, which you can actually see a little bit of it there. And I'm using this new stand to get it a little closer to my mouth. I'm also kind of doing this, which I got to stop doing. So if I sound okay and anybody wants to comment that's watching, let me know. Hey, Vorpal. Hello, Captain Ugly. I wore this hat just for Vorpal. He's been mocking my boonie hat. This boonie hat actually even got worn when I was on active duty, just for training. But I was in a reserve unit, and I wore this. So that's why my specialist rank is still on there. But God bless everybody. Let's show that right there. There's Vorpal's comment. And I'm assuming I'm coming in and I sound all right, Vorpal. Vorpal loves the beard. He loves that beard coming in. Oh, you got to be loving the Purple Haze there, Vorpal. Looks like Vietnam's starting to get a little bit more gaming attention. World War II dominates wargaming with the titles that come out. World War II is still very popular, but you're starting to get some very unique Vietnam games as well. So let's see. Let's see if we can circle back. So again, blended malt. So it's just barley, malted barley blended together. Let's address a little bit of Twilight 2000. So here's the deal. I'm having a ball. Love this. The whole point of my channel, if you can tell by the kind of sometimes long title, Bonding with Board Games, was the idea that I really like. So I love solitaire play, which, by the way, I'm doing with this as well with my evil Twilight 2000, Kanan Krieg. But I love gathering at the table and sitting down and playing, whether it's just with a war game buddy and we're doing, you name it, Command and Colors, any one of those series or anything else, all the way back to Risk days when I was a kid, up to trying to get Here I Stand played over there on the table. It's up, but I need to take some time and learn it. And into Euro games and party games. I just love actually spending time with folks. So the idea of the channel was to help me connect with folks in a virtual way. And that is working perfectly. Love it. And then when the chance came to start playing role-playing games that way as well, it's really cool because I have a role-playing group that's been coming over the house using Fate Core. My son loves role-playing. He's not nearly as much into board games. And I like role-playing as well, not generally as much. But when Twilight 2000 4th edition was coming out, I was like, oh yeah. I still had my books, as you've seen in the box here, from the old days. And I was like, I'm in on that. Oh, by the way, they're coming out with, I think they're supposed to be like Kickstarter, or I don't know what they're using, but some kind of crowdfunding for their next expansion, which will be into the cities. So Warsaw, they had a folio or something with Warsaw and Krakow, and there's supposed to be a boxed version expansion coming out. So that's good. Let's see what Vorpal's saying here. We got Vorpal. He's saying Purple Haze. I wish it best success. Love the topic. Not a fan of the dice game. Okay. So you don't like rolling the dice in there as much. Got it. All right. Will you buy it, though? That's the question. Let's see, more hand gestures. Yeah, he wants me to, I need like jazz hands. I need to come in. I need to point a lot, be like, you know what? We're going to be talking about this later. This. Yeah, that's right. That's what we're doing. You know what? It's a funny sidebar here. A Japanese whiskey, well, it's a company that handles multiple Japanese whiskeys. They reached out to me via the whiskey show. And they were like, hey, we've got some whiskeys coming out, so they may send some, they may not. Then they wanted me to watch this virtual whiskey tour that they did due to COVID. And they had a couple of YouTubers come on, one of which was a younger guy. I'm sure they're both Japanese, speak great English. I speak I speak no Japanese. Let's just say that. They're doing a live, and they're going to move through product. And all of a sudden, one of the guys who's talking like this, and you can see his hands. Let me get this off here. You can see his hands here on the table, and he's kind of using them natural, normal. You see him look off camera, and then he's like, kind of like pointing like, oh, the something with the keyboard. You know, I mean, he's not saying this, but you can see he's confused, and someone off camera is directing him, and he's thinking there's something with the computer they want him to do. But he's kind of confused. And then what? And then apparently the message is take your hands off the table, because all of a sudden he's like, and his hands disappear from the table. And then he talks more like a robot. And the other guy had his hands off the table. And there was some deal like if they had like a sheet or a bottle came in, they had to get it off camera. They had to get it off camera like quick. And you could see it was stressful. And it was distracting, and they weren't natural as soon as this off-camera direction happened. So probably the media person reaching out to me to say, hey, you guys interested in looking at our whiskey? He asked me, hey, did you see our live tour thing? It's just a YouTube show where they're talking about their whiskey. I was like, yeah. And I said, it's very interesting. If you're interested in sending this, and this whiskey, we'd love to try it. Sidebar, I know you probably don't want to or even care about my opinion. I'll give you my American YouTuber opinion. Someone off camera got on your one guy for his hands there. off-camera distraction. It was bad. The idea that they were then nervous, and the idea that their hands shouldn't be on the table or be expressive, that's totally okay. I don't speak for YouTube or shows on YouTube, obviously. There's millions. But in my opinion, what you get that is nice from YouTube is the actual person, hopefully. Not saying some things aren't curated, not here, not the hat, not the beard. But this poor guy, so I told him, hey, whoever was directing him off camera, I'm suspicious it might be the person I was talking to via email because they haven't replied back. I said, they need to stop that. Let those two dudes, whoever they are, just be who they are and let them connect with the folks on the other end. So that was my 2 bits. I hadn't heard anything back, but when you said more hand gestures there, Vorpal, it reminded me of that. So let's see what else Vorpal's saying here. You have taught me to incorporate cards into my RPGs. You know, that was something that Twilight 2000 had in their system. And I was using the cards that come with it. They have cards that came with the Kickstarter that cover some random events, and you can use them for the cards, but they weren't visually stunning because their card aspect, Ace of Spades, is subdued. And I thought, visual medium here. Let's go get another deck of cards that's bright and just be able to, boom, flash it to the camera even. And I don't have a monitor. I don't have my computer up. You can see it here. I don't have this up when I'm filming those shows because I'm using a whole different camera. So the viewers actually get to see the result before I do. Matter of fact, same thing when I'm doing it with Dan and Ron. Although I do have this set up, they still get to see that card pop before I do, and it's a reveal. And I actually do like that a lot. So thanks, Vorpal. And it gives a binary yes or no, and then the system uses, if I want to know, like, is this group I ran into okay? Orphan children. Okay, you flip a card, and if it's clubs, they're violent. A violent group of orphan children. Reminds me of the old Star Trek episode. What was that? They were Grumps, where they were attacking Captain Kirk. Somebody put that in the comments. Or diamonds would mean you're positive money. So these orphan kids, maybe they're great workers, or maybe they're bringing with them gold. Probably not, but you get an idea that there's some positive monetary. Hearts is like great empathy. So who knows? Maybe who knows? Spades, I can't remember what spades means. It's bad. So the clubs kind of mean violence. Spades means something like selfish. I can't remember. But you can use that, and then you can take the cards further. A 2 would mean very little of that, and an ace of spades would mean like ultimate. So you roll up ace of spades, ace of clubs, the kids are shooting it. The orphan children are ambushing you. You're in serious trouble immediately. So it's a nice thing that the cards bring. And I'll plug a guy that is a pro, because I'm just enjoying what I'm doing and having fun. But a serious RPG buddy I have, also on the police department, said you got to check out Me, Myself, and Die, D-I-E, like roll the die or die dead. And this guy's a voice actor, and he's doing a solo run through. It's a fantasy setting, but it's awesome. And he uses this mythic emulator, which allows him to ask yes or no questions to a system, and they'll answer back, and there's degrees and stuff. So I went and bought that myself. Eventually, I'd like to probably incorporate that in as well. What do we got here? Vorpal's upgrading the deck to tarot cards. Okay, that's cool. Never messed around with tarot cards. I like that they're big. I need to go buy some big, oversized regular cards so that I'm showing this huge thing. But I don't know. I get the cards right up in there, so it's good. Oh, all caps. Hold on. Vorpal's screaming at me. I don't want to know anything about your under-the-table hand gestures. Keep it to yourself. Vorpal, you're so incorrect. Is covering his eyes. Wow. So it's just me and Vorpal hanging out in here. No, I see there's other eyeballs in here as well. Don't forget what I told you about adding the Joker to your deck. You know, I've always got the Joker in there. I never actually pulled him out. And it actually came up on one of the shows with Pancaldi and Dan. And what I do with that, I don't know. I think it should almost be a random event that happens in the midst of whatever. But I had it that they got to pick what they wanted out of it, how they wanted it to go. I'm not sure that was right. Joker, what are you saying? Joker would be entirely third option. Nobody expects. Okay. All right. I could see that. That's why I was even saying maybe a random event, but I don't know. I'll play around with that. I like having the Joker in there myself. So. All right. So you got this old system here. All right. The original, like 1983. And you had just a bunch of 6-sided die. And what is this? A 10-sided die, I think, that I had in here. You know, what I remember most from playing this version, I remember two things. We were trying to get fuel out of our alcohol still constantly. I did not GM or referee this. I was a player, but we spent most of our time trying to gather fuel, keep the still going, and I think we had a 113 APC or something, if I remember right, which is you see a Humvee in the background. I remember that, but I remember it was gritty. And then I remember we did get the module. I think I bought the module because I still have it. So I bet you that was me. I bought the module for Vistula, and it's all the rivers and waterways. And then there's a tugboat, an armed tugboat that you can get on. And we got hired out to help. I think we're moving from location to location, but we also worked for our transport. And I love that aspect of it too. And then in the 90s, I picked this up and I really just read it and enjoyed it. But it has a lot of cool, here's a map of Western Europe, Eastern too, actually. And so it's got a lot of good little stuff. And this has some history on the United States and what's going on in the States. So as things progress, I can use a lot of this, although I guess it's not canon for this. And they're putting out new stuff. I don't have the books here with me. I'm going to do a review of this now that I've played it a bunch. And it's going to be a review of it from a board game standpoint because they have all these battle maps with it. And they have a little tactical system. I haven't liked it. When I'm RPGing, I want to go more theater of the mind. And when I'm doing their tactical system, one, it's hard for me with the cameras to get, cameras on it and all this stuff. But it just doesn't, I do such intense tactical wargaming. That's my favorite. That I don't get a lot of enjoyment from moving the counters around on there. It feels like it's just, well, it's not as cinematic as my mind. So I haven't been using the tactical maps and stuff. They'll be good for showing context, but let's see. What are you saying here? My current homework is generating rumors, adventure leads. Okay. I'm using sandbox. Oh, I should have read first. I'm using a sandbox element of the first edition to the fourth edition. Okay, cool. Rumors, adventure leads. That's cool. If you want to end up sending any of those to me, can't guarantee I'll use them, but I am using the prison is a rumor. And if you've seen my last episode with Dan and Ron, they are headed to check out south of their location is a rumor of the prison. Lost Tribe, many good games releasing soon. La Carga de los 3, Reyes King in the north, Van Manstein's Triumph, Red Flag over Paris. Yeah, I'm forgetting his name. I did an live interview with the designer Red Flag over Paris. That one doesn't speak to me too much. The one that he's doing that is the Robin Hood. I'm missing a part of the title there. The Robin Hood one looks very interesting. It's kind of an introduction to like Coin Light, I think is what he said too. And so I'm interested in that Gist Robin Hood that he's got coming out. Oh boy, his name's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it. Let's see. Saw all of these recently at Stuka Joe's live streams at the convention in Spain. Oh, that's cool. Man, Stuka. Talked to Jose. I think he still lives in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So, but he was retiring. He was a federal attorney, I believe. I think I can say that. When I'm ready, I will share my work with you. Cool. Thanks, Vorpal. Again, no promises, but I can't wait to see it. So let's see. Let's talk Tank Duel. So some of you may have seen my release. By the way, this is just a little note that there are these little token flags that you put on up here. And if you've got the Desert Africa expansion, the tokens come in there. If you've got the base game only, then you've got to use some other like blank tokens. That's all that note is. But this is Tank Pack 1. Think War of Tanks. Is that it? World of Tanks. World of Tanks. War of Tanks. Well, that too. So you're just getting more tanks here. There's a Stuart. You're getting more tanks to play in the game. Sorry, it's in a bag and it's shining. The card flip that you do in the base game or in the whole game, think Title Bout. If you've played that, where you flip the card and depending on what's going on, did your punch land? Or if it landed, now you're flipping another card to see how strong or did it knock them out or whatever. That's what the card system kind of generally, I'm not getting into specifics of it, is with Tank Duel. I like it. It's diceless. So if you love dice, have to have dice, you probably won't like it. But it's this beautiful randomizer, and I love the flipping of the cards to see and where you're looking at, and it just kind of flows nicely. The other thing that's kind of cool and a little bit bloodthirsty is that you get victory points based on taking out tanks and killing the crew. And but the player isn't eliminated. They jump into another tank and they're right back in the action. It reminds me of first-person shooters I used to play. You may sacrifice your tank to go in and try to do a thing, but you're going to give them some victory points, and then you got to respawn and grab another tank and head into action. One thing, again, with this, these tank boards. So I talked to the designer, and he may come on and do a live. I was trying to link up with him with BGG because he mentioned he'd come on. He'll come in. Mike will come into the comments every now and then. It's way too expensive, but I love these new double layered boards that a lot of Euro games have. Now, he mentioned it's expensive. I'm sure it is. But what I would happen, and there's not a lot, you have your range. I'd love if this was slotted, and depending on where you're at over here as well, those are really, other than cards lay in here, and that the layer board would probably get in the way with the cards. So you probably wouldn't even want that in there. But I even almost thought of a plastic tray. There's trays that'll clip over that then allow you to slot in stuff, because on occasion I would bump the board and then things are moved, and I'm like, ew, where was I with that? Where was that token at? But I would think for that to even at all be profitable for GMT, they would have to be selling tons. So probably not going to happen. It was just something where the game is literally these boards, because that's what you have in front of you. And that's what you're moving your pieces on. That's how you tell your range and where you're at and all this kind of stuff and who you have spotted. When I go over this, I'll talk about the tanks that are in the pack. And then I'll probably bring that up in better detail. And I realize it's probably not feasible. So let's see what's on here. Let's see. What do you got here? We got Vorpal. Chief, I used to write for the Challenge magazine, and most of what I sent them was on, T2K. Man, you're the man, dude. He played micro armor for 25 years. I need an entire battalion to run. One tank at a time doesn't cut the mustard for me. See, I like the tactical. So when you give me a tactical tank game, I love that. Same reason I like B-17 Queen of the Skies. Same reason I like the original B-17 Queen of the Skies, other than the new ones. What I love most that, man, I wish they hadn't done in the new thing is that ringed chart, that map of Europe, that you're pushing deeper into these zones and your counters deeper and deeper. And you start taking damage in B-17 and you realize I still got to get to the target. I can't leave my group now, or if I fall out of my group, I'm really going to get pounced. And when you get to, especially if you're hitting Berlin or something, the general had the expanded targets list. And what was that, 8 out? Or was it? I think it was 8 out. Maybe it was even further. Now you got to come back. And you're like, oh my God, he ain't going to make it. And then sometimes they do, but it feels like you're traveling that distance. And that's one map, one piece of flimsy cardboard printed with zones. And the new version, what do they call it? Target for today. They got rid of that. You just got this line and you just move your token. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm out. Now I got to come back. I want to see where I'm at in time and space. Killed me. I was like, why would they get rid of that? That was so thematic. Yes, I know it took some table space, but it was so good. All right, hold on. Here we go. We got Kabuki's in. I need a hit and run. Wanted to at least say hi. Hey, Kabuki. That's why you're on here. Good to see you. And if you got to run, you got to run. What is this? Hey, chat. Off to game. Sweet. Ciao. All right. What else we got in here? Lost Tribe. Very interesting crowdfunding campaign currently running on GameFound. GameFound. Yeah. Purple Haze. Right. That's what Vorpal and I are talking about earlier on, if you see it. I did the 2 videos on that. I had James on. We talked about it. He walked through it. It's a cross between, it's like 3 things. Ambush, because you're going to have a little paragraph booklet, basically, where you're going and reading this, and then what are you going to do? That what are you going to do is a bit of choose your own adventure feel. How are you going to, there's a couple options here. Go to there. And then you've got a beautiful map and how you're moving through it and stuff. So you've got kind of that set piece, war game kind of thing combined with ambush. The combat, I like the combat that you have this combat card and the triangles show you the ranges. One triangle, they're close and they might have a special action where they can even throw grenades at you. You might have a sniper out at range 3 or range 4, and then there's extra die popping in on you. And then that role-playing feel, that's where I was going to go. The role-playing feel is your individual soldiers and what they're kitted with, their individual weapon and their ammo and other gear they may have, including making camp and setting up claymores if you have them, being able to call in an airstrike or artillery. All that's layered in. And something I didn't know, they got a little mini expansion for tunnel rats. I had no idea that was even out there until it hit some level on GameFound. So yeah, that's very cool. I love story-based games like that. So it's a mix of that tactical feel without any chits on the table, without any markers on the table. You just got that counter in your sheet and your dice showing the strength. I really like that. That's actually very much in my sweet spot. And someone's commenting on one of my videos that they would, if this works well, the final product, which won't be out until like 2023, if it goes well, sells well, they would love for Afghanistan to be modeled, or Iraq. There's so many options they could go with there because of those cards. I really like that idea as well. So let's see what else we got. Okay, we got cross chat. Love it. Purple Haze is 254% funded. Yes, it is. Made the funding in like 3 hours, if I remember right. What is Vorpal saying? Oh, it moved on me. What does he want? He needs a map or something. Maybe he said he needs a nap. Lost Tribe, you mentioned a tactical gaming earlier. Chief, wondering what your favorite tactical system is. Still Conflict of Heroes. Academy Games. I like the visual appeal, the bigger chits. There's been multiple different dice systems, including the new one die. I don't like that one die as much. I forget what Uwe calls it. I still like, I don't like the simple version. I like to take 3 dice, you roll them in a cup, you count your APs up. So your opponent doesn't know how many you rolled into this cup. You means test the dice. So you're rolling 3 dice, but you only count, how am I forgetting this? You only count high and low? I think. I can't remember what the heck it is. I'd have to go look at it now. How am I missing that? I'm missing something on that. But then after you've done your moves or you exhaust that unit, you show your opponent, hey, that's what I rolled. But I love it because they don't know if you rolled super high or if you got a lousy snake eyes, triple snake eyes or something. I think that is it. You take the high and the low because it's real hard to get overly, you can roll triple ones and then you're like, my machine gun's doing nothing. That's my favorite system. I've tried a few other ones again. I like some other ones, but man, I just keep coming back to that. And I will admit one thing. I want more. Academy Games got very successful with their space game, which looks like it'll be fun. They've also had companies, the shooter board game company, I can't remember what it's called, with the 3D terrain. They put that out. They were funded for that. So they haven't put out the 82nd, 101st Airborne version, which would be the first Americans in the game. Long answer, that's my favorite tactical combat system. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I love Ambush back in the day. Ambush and B-17. So my very first game purchased ever. I was 13, B-17 Queen of the Skies. Thank God. I love it. Still love it. I got to get back to doing playthroughs over here with my Patreon crew. And then the second game I picked up was Ambush. Love it. I've probably played more B-17, but when I was a kid, Ambush was my favorite. And just working through those individual troops, mano-a-mano. So, wow, Afghanistan and Iraq modeling of the Purple Haze model would be terrific. Yes, now I'm way ahead. So was the commenter on that. Of course, Purple Haze needs to get out. They need to show what's going on. But I think it's going to be a strong hit for Phalanx. And it leaves itself open with that card system to quickly, do other things. The chip pulling allows them to tweak whatever the combat type situations are in whatever era. I think they may have hit, blanking on the designer's name, but I think he's hit on a system that could be extremely fun and extremely flexible and adaptive to all kinds of different conflicts. So we got to wait. I won't say any of that until the finished game is out. I've played the prototype, but I can see where it's going and I like what it's doing. But let's be honest here as well. This is up my alley. I like, even when I'm playing Conflict of Heroes. All right. I'm playing against a retired buddy of mine, Bubs. I'm putting a narrative story together as we're playing. I've even had troops that I'm like, hey, that troop, they always roll good. He's coming for you. And they will roll good. And it's like, yes. And so I'll put in my own mind role-playing elements when I'm playing a tactical hex and counter game. And so not a stretch for me to be playing role-playing or ambush or any of these other things. Dice to hit, dice for damage. Let's see. Vorpal did a Vietnam version. using ambush, if I remember right, which would have worked perfect. I wish they would have done it. They did Battle Hymn, which took you to the Pacific, worked really well. But then it kind of lost steam, I think. Board games or computer games and first-person shooters started to take over. You may hear pots and pans upstairs. I believe the wife is cleaning up pancake pans. What is Bill saying here? Advanced Squad Leader is my fave, followed by Lock and Load Tactical. Conflict of Heroes, good, but a lot similar and less content. Yeah, a lot less content. Man, I wish they could. But when I go to complain, there's still some of the Guadalcanal. I haven't played all the scenarios in there. And when I was playing with my buddy Bubs, this is all way pre-worldwide thing. We were playing both sides. So we'd take a scenario. I'd play the Japanese. He'd play Americans or Marines or whatever. Then we'd flip it just to kind of see, who handled it better, how we did it. That was taking forever, but it was fun. And you knew the system, so it was really easy to just shift it and play it again. Not the system, but the setup. Let's see. You tried Target for today. Yeah. It's like upgraded B-17. Yeah, that's the Apollo Gamer. That's the one where they got rid of the map. They got rid of the zone map. Yeah. I was like, I want to see my flight in space and time. I want them to feel like they're way out there on the raggedy edge and not going to make it. And so it lost some of that thematicness for them. That and Steve Dixon, I think it's a love thing that he and his other creators did on that. They wanted something a lot crunchier. I know before Target for today, you had the B-29 version. I forget what it was called. Someone will put it in there. But a lot of your stuff was mechanical. That engine's out. That engine's on fire. Nobody's even attacking you. That doesn't do it for me. I know they took that into Korea, and that got a little better. But B-17 was like lightning in a bottle for me, and I got so lucky. Bill, Chief, have you tried Combat by Compass Games? Might scratch the ambush itch. I haven't. I've seen that out there, and part of it is, I don't know, you got me curious on the ambush itch. Is it solitaire? I remember looking at it and it caught my interest. So I'll take another look at it, see what it is. I remember looking somewhat interested and then I passed, but that could have been just because I had so many games that I had to review. Vorpal says he's an old geezer. That's not a direct quote. He's an older guy. He has 3 sets of original Squad Leader. Could just not bring myself to invest in ASL. I remember when the big push for ASL was coming out. And, when I was getting back into gaming, I bought the big binder of the ASL. I was getting all of it, and then I just couldn't get into it. When I first moved to Wichita in 1995, Greg Schmidtkins, who ends up being on Hamtag, and another guy, Boomer, probably even Bubs. I'd heard there was an ASL gaming group that met at, I think it was Seneca Bowl, which is a street and a bowling alley. And I think I even went there, and they were like, they don't meet here anymore. And I was like, shoot. This is what it was like before you had heavy internet. Whoa. That was weird. So, sorry, pick up the phone and then it rings. Let's see. What do we have here? Lock and Load Tactical is the same as Old School Tactical. I don't know. Lost Tribe. So Bill answers, no, Lock and Load Tactical published by Lock and Load. Old School Tactical is Flying Pigs. Got it. Is it Flying Pigs or Pig? I think it's singular. Yes, Combat is solitaire. Okay. You've piqued my interest. I'm fully piqued. Don't take that in a bad way, Vorpal. Vorpal says, I was 13 years old playing Dungeons and Dragons. Woo, white box. Look at you. In the corner of the room while me and my crew, hold on, I was 13. Yeah, while me and my crew was snickering at John Hill and his playtesters of Squad Leader. Huh. Wow. Tell more of that story. So you were 13, John Hill and his playtesters of Squad Leader. Interesting. All right, we're at 40 minutes. Let's see. So I talked about it earlier when I first went on. One of the things I want to get out on the table, which I played around with, looked at, read a few of the rules, but I didn't actually get it played, was this Rocky Mountain Man. Now, the designer of this, he did this other game, a full boxed game. It's all about meeting a shaman and going on some kind of mushroom trip. Look at the size of those chickens. All right. And it was so unique and different. And he did a folio version that apparently sold pretty well. Then he decided to do a box version, and I purchased that. I can't remember what it's called. It's something weird. And I tried to play through it once, and you can wear like 3D glasses, and it's psychedelic and stuff and all this stuff. I don't even know what's going on with it. I couldn't quite get her played. But then he put out this, and this goes off of the Source of the Nile type gaming system where you're adventuring and using like a crayon, not like, you're using a crayon. They include crayons. And you're adventuring and finding things and trying to trap. And I grew up in the mountains of Colorado, and I was always super intrigued by the whole frontiersman trapping, going out into the wild and free. Okay, Grizzly Adams was huge at the time. Who remembers Grizzly Adams? Loved it. He was accused falsely of crimes, and he had to run to the wild. Made friends with a big bear, and I believe the bear's name was Bart. All right, and that is my name as well. But yes, crayons are included. Gotta love it. Let's see, what do we have here? What else does Vorpal say? Oh, that's still your 13 thing. So I want to get this on the table. Now I'm going to admit I am so fully occupied with Twilight 2000. I'm doing my solo campaigns, which I'm putting out a video campaigns, shows, which I'm putting out one video a week. All right, that's fun. And I'm doing my semi-live. I mean, it's not live with commenters, with Pancaldi and Ron Nicholson, and we're having a ball with that. I mean, I'm having a really good time. And one thing I believe is for the show, if you guys have seen, I've got like, well, here's a funny note. I've got about, 6,090 subs. That's good. But I don't think a lot of my subscribers, they're much more fans of Ham Tag, and Greg didn't want to do it anymore, and then Jug got a little burned out. So Ham Tag could come back. I could do some more, whatever. But I go where the channel just where I go. And I would say there's probably not a lot of my core fans, Ham Taggers, that like maybe role-playing games. So I've had some folks leaving as subscribers. That's fine. I'm not chasing subs. But it's interesting. So far this month, I've had one. That's not a good sign of success. My views are up, but some people are leaving and some people are coming in. So if you see this and you haven't subbed and you like my content, please do. Please do. That will help me pick back up on those algorithms. What is Vorpal saying here? Another crayon game, Source of the Nile, multi-solitaire game. I thought I saw Wilderness. Oh, there we go. Did you ever play the original Wilderness Survival? I did. And I knew that was one of their best-selling games because of Dungeons and Dragons and the outside elements. I played it. It was really hard. I tried to get my whole family to play once, and they were like, confusing, and we're dying. I think Dad got lost and died. Couldn't find water. But yeah, I still have it, I think. It had this cool aspect. It's funny that the boards, the wilderness boards, ended up making it the best game out there. What is this? And there was a railroad game that used a crayon. Yeah, I kind of remember that too. I generally don't like crayons in games. I went to try to see if I get Source of the Nile, and there was a fan that even said they would send me their copy, but they were shipping it from Europe, and then the whole shipping crisis happened, and costs were through the roof. And I said, dude, don't ship it. I got so many games here I can't play anyway. And maybe when things go back to normal, he can ship it, because I'd love to play it and see how it works. But let me play this Rocky Mountain Man first and see how it goes. The guy, I think, does a lot of his own art as well, which you may say, yeah, that's obvious. But for me, it kind of feels like that retro style. I love the passion that is in a game like this. So it's not going to be as polished, or it's not going to have the high-end stuff, but I love when that passion's in there. You can tell and this, I'm sorry I'm blanking on his name, but he does pretty good game mechanics as well. So, all right, let's see. I think we're about there. If anybody has any general comments, there is GMT is supposed to be sending me Plains Indian Wars, so that should be coming soon. I look forward to that. It's using a lot of the mechanics of the Birth of America series from Academy Games, which I really liked, where the cubes are on the map and how you're moving them and what you're trying to do. I remember I've read through the rules. It interested me. I really like the Birth of America, or Academy Games has the one Viking Birth of Europe series. That Viking game is actually really fun too. What is it? Viking 879? Something like that. That should be coming soon. So when that comes in, I will do an unboxing of it, and then I'll get that played. And I think that's about it. That's why I need to work this game in somewhere. And I'll be honest with you, I think I need to take a week off from work, the police department, and just learn how to play Here I Stand. My new boss loves history. He's working on his master's in history. And he and I have been trading reading texts. Reading texts? What the heck is that? Books to read. Reading texts. What an idiot. So, what do we got on here? Vorpal, and there was a railroad game. Yeah, and a general comment, but a razor. Buy a razor. Oh, you're so bad. I like this beard. I want to dye it black, though. And then someone at work said they would mock me, and I said, I'm going to double do it now. I don't mind being mocked. Look at me. Look at the hat I'm wearing. All right. Where are we at time-wise? 47 minutes. When it hits 50 minutes, I'm going to say bye. So if anybody has any comments, throw them out there now. If anybody's got any games they're looking forward to that are coming out, let me know. With Twilight 2000, they've got the Black Madonna was a module, and that was part of a stretch goal that they promised they were going to do. I know they probably won't be able to get the printed version out right away, but I'm hoping they release the PDF version, because I'd love to get that in there. But again, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying my role-playing aspect. The plug that's still out there, if you enjoy role-playing at all, or creative game exploration type stuff, check out Me, Myself, and Die. Now, he's got like 22,000 subs, so it's not like he's like 3 times me for subscribers. But I'm just telling you, it was so neat. My RPG buddy said, hey, go check him out. And how his adventures just kind of populate and roll, and his ability to flow with it. And it's hopefully what I'm doing, not nearly as experienced as him, as I play through this. And if you want to see some enjoyment, as I'm flipping these cards with stuff, Pancaldi's losing his mind half the time. His sniper's like, wait. And then he was like, you're negative energy, man. You got too much negative energy. Okay, you're saying, look here. Is Twilight 2000 available on PDF? Is that what you're doing here with this? If maybe check Drive Through RPG. There is stuff there. I don't know if it's PDF only. Wouldn't surprise me. But you got the referee's manual, the player's manual, and then all the maps. And then they do have some custom dice, but yeah, if you have your own dice, which Vorpal, I know you do, you don't need those anyway. And so check. You can also Free League. I should have said it. Free League is the company out of Sweden that puts this 4th edition out. And it's based, I played Forbidden Lands once or twice with the similar system. They call it the sandbox or the hex crawl. Instead of a dungeon crawl, it's a hex crawl. You're moving through this map of Poland or Sweden. So you've got a very detailed map of Sweden or Poland, and you're just sandboxing through and adventuring around. Drive-through RPG. What are you saying? Drive-through RPG, thank you. But Tribe is talking at you. Tribe. Oh, sorry, Tribe. Asked earlier, but you missed the comment. Are you still a fan of Mare Nostrum? I recently picked that game up. Yes, Mare Nostrum, again, from the expansion I got is from Academy Games, really caught me off guard. I don't play a lot of the ancient or the Roman type games. And I learned it, played through solo multiple parts, had a bunch of folks come over. We had a blast. There was a guy that came over, thought, I didn't think I was going to like this. I loved it. It plays so well, and it's so easy to pick up and play. And I've got the little expansion. And then the other cool thing is however many players is what you cover the board. I can't remember what they call that, but there's a little piece that covers the board. I love Mare Nostrum. Have I played it in the last 3 years? No. So, which is crazy because that is a very good game. We had a blast with that. Let's see. Poland classic. Yes. Poland was the classic setting for Twilight 2000. Sweden, USMC. With the game, you've got 2 different locations. Where I'm at 5209. I'm going to cut this off here. You have to make a Sweden. You have to make up Sweden from scratch. If that's a question, no, not with this. You have the whole Sweden map. Swedish map, Sweden, the map of Sweden. And then the little special missions, they're not really missions, but the locations, they even have ways to say this. If it's in Poland, it's this. If it's in Sweden, it's this. All right, we're going to wrap this one up so people actually go watch it in post. Maybe. Please remember to thumb it. And if at all you like, especially when I talk about role-playing games, give it a subscribe. I've been getting kicked in the chin. That's the place. I've been getting kicked in the chin on my subs the last 28 days. You have a map of Sweden, but no location descriptions. Okay. So, all righty. I'm going to wind down. See you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Give it a little.